بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا Muhammad ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome now to our 8th lesson in the priming the primer, preparing ourselves for the study of Usul al-Fiqh, preparing ourselves for the study at a deeper level of Imam al-Haramain's Waraqat, which is like the first text as you enter into the subject. Before we get started, I want to ask you to subscribe if you're on the YouTube page, to leave a comment if you can, and if you're on our Swiss platform and you're enjoying the full class with the evaluations and the one-on-ones that you have with me, let people know on social media. The shadow ban is real for many of us. I'm going to be talking today about the goal of Usul al-Fiqh. Its goal is al-Hukm al-Shari'i, is the Sharia rulings. And we'll be spending a few lessons talking about these things, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's go over a course overview quickly that you can expect for this moment, if you will. Number one, what are the objectives? What is it that you want to learn? Understand the definition and types of Islamic legal rulings. Number two, distinguish between different terminology and concepts that are related to these rulings. Recognize the hierarchy of Islamic legal rulings and the wisdom behind the gradation, if you will, of how these rulings were sent and applied. So let's jump into our introduction. Islamic legal rulings, al-hukm. Al-hukm means ruling. Al-shari means sharia ruling. Represent the fruit of Islamic fiqh, of usul al-fiqh. So we say usul shajara wal ahkam thamara. That usul are the tree, usul al-fiqh, and the fruit are the rulings. We say al-usul walid wal ahkam mawlud. Like usul al-fiqh are like the parents, the father, and the rulings are the offspring. This is why scholars of usul customarily, remember this, one of the things I want you to learn in this class is I'm preparing you for how to read these classical texts that are coming if that's where you're headed. So giving you a skill set to understand, okay, this is what I should expect moving forward. So this is why if you look at like classical texts, many of them, like the Waraqat itself or even the Lum'a of Imam Shirazi, if you look at Al-Ahkam of Imam al-Baji, different texts, right? They tend to start after introducing Usul al-Fiqh with rulings. But rulings are related to fiqh. So why would they put that, and why is it we see customarily that they're placing this at the front of their books? Because they're telling you, like, this is the goal. This is what Usul al-Fiqh is going to bake and serve. So they locate the ahkam at the beginning of the books to show you their importance, the ahkam, the rulings. Ahkam is rulings. And the outcome of Usul al-Fiqh is this. So this is why scholars of Usul customarily discuss them in the introduction to their books and compilations. And they elaborate a lot on their concepts, their categories, their distinctions, and even different terminology. So they spend a lot of time talking about rulings. And classically, like if you look at the Manhaj of Imam al-Baydawi, it's a book, intermediary book that should be studied in Usul al-Fiqh. He talks about ruling, who's the ruler, the types of rulings, different understandings and applications related to those types of rulings. Then he talks about what's being ruled on, al-mahkum alayh, and that's people. And he talks about, like, for example, are children expected to abide by rulings? Are non-Muslims expected to abide by rulings? What if a ruling is beyond a person's ability? And blah, 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 blah. So he spends like all this time talking about al-mahkum alayh, al-mahkum fihi, al-mahkum bihi, al-hakim wal-hukum. So like these 5 things, right? Ruling, the ruler, the types of rulings, the applications of those types of rulings, and then who's ruled upon. So that's what he means when we say here that this part of the text of Usul al-Fiqh that deals with rulings talks about what? The elaboration on the concepts, categories, and distinctions and applications, as well as differences in terminology of rulings. Why am I talking about this? And why is it there? To tell you is the goal and outcome of Usul al-Fiqh, and it's central to the science. It's the purpose of Usul al-Fiqh. Key questions we will explore: what is an Islamic legal ruling? What are the categories of Islamic legal rulings? How do these rulings guide Muslims in their conduct in various aspects of their life? So let's look at the definition for al-hukm al-shar'i. Number one, the Arabic word for hukm means a judgment or decree, but actually in Fusha, it means to prevent or restrain. If I say, I restrained him, mana'tu, mana'tu. But I could also say, hakemtu, hakemtu. I stopped him. Mana is a synonym, which means to prevent or stop. Imam al-Haramain defines al-hukm al-shar'i by enumeration of its types rather than through a comprehensive definition. So what he's going to give you is the concepts related to the hukm without specifically defining what is a hukm. But let's take Imam Ibn Hajib, who wrote this book, Muntaha al-Usuli, which he wrote two books. There's a big one and a small one. And it's an extremely important text. Imam Ibn Hajib, he says, al-hukm al-shar'i. So he's giving you what Imam Haramain doesn't do. Imam Ibn Hajib is going to give you a technical definition. And then once we've finished here, I hope you guys can see where I'm right over here right now to help you sort of see where I'm at. I'm here. Once we finish there, we'll move to this part. But what Imam Haramain does is, maybe he expected the teacher to define it for the students. Maybe because the goal of the waraqat was to make things easy. He wants to give you the concept without getting caught up in definitions. He lived at a time where there was a lot of debate, discussion around definitions, the conditions used for definitions, and it became exhaustive. So maybe he just wanted to like sidestep all that. So what we're going to do is define it technically and then come back to Imam al-Haramain. So we're going to start right here. So Imam Ibn Hajib, he says that al-hukm shar'i, a Sharia ruling, is the address of Allah, the khitab of Allah, related to the acts of the legally responsible, what's known as mukallaf. We talk about this a lot in Swiss on our course on Essentials of Islamic Faith, level 1. Through requiring means through commanding, giving a choice, or establishing something as a cause, condition, or preventative factor. So let me explain this to you super quickly, right? The address of Allah related to the acts of the legally responsible who has to worship Allah because of their age, because of their maturation, because of their awareness, their ability, through, number one, commands to do or not to do. So like a command to pray is a fard. A command not to drink is a fard. So this is what it means by requiring iqtida. Okay? Here, iqtida means al-amr. Or giving a choice, like you can observe this sunnah or not observe this sunnah. You can make up the days of fasting then or make them up at a different time. أو التخيير from khayr. So you choose the best. Or establishing something, meaning God establishes something, أو بالوضع. Wada means to lay down. Wada'tu, I placed it down. Okay? So establishing something as a cause, for example, the sun being a cause for the time of dhuhr. A condition, if I become an adult now, the condition is set that I am now. Or a condition, I have to have wudu for salah. Excuse me. Adulthood would be a cause for worship. The sun will be a cause for salah. Usually causes, I don't want to make it too complicated or out of our control. But a condition is something we can do, like making wudu for prayer, or a preventative factor. For example, if someone is suffering from severe mental illness, that would prevent them from having to do certain acts of worship. Or menstruation would prevent a woman from fasting and salah. Okay? So Allah has established these. Many scholars actually don't mention this, and they just pile them under the others, commands or choices. FYI. So oftentimes, like, you won't find this part in the definition. It'll just be, excuse me, this part, sorry. So it will just be, the address of Allah related to the acts of the legally responsible through requiring or giving a choice. خطاب الله تعالى المتعلق بأفعال المكلفين بالاقتضاء أو التأخير. So here's the definition of حكم الشرعي. Next time we're going to talk about the types of rulings. Since we've defined it, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in khair, may Allah accept from all of us. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.